Damn, I forgot the bounties. So, Killer's bounty, pre-time skip 162 million berry, post-time skip 200 million berry. And Zora's was 60, then 120, then it's at 320 now. So, both not captains, both have pretty high bounties. Zora's bounty is the same as Basil Hawkins. So, not sure if that's an indication as far as like the level of where they are. Maybe I'm overestimating Killer here, but for Zoro, 320 million berry is nothing to scoff at as a right hand. Kind of crazy. So number 5, I have my guy Rouge. Now Rouge, pre-time skip, I think he had the lowest bounty of 108 million berry. Now we don't know what it is, but for Rouge, he's had a huge come up. And post-time skip, he had some feats. He was able to go giant Hulk mode, and he seems to have the Karma Devil Fruit based on how his power works. He's a priest. It fits, right? And he was able to take down. He was fighting a pacifista pretty evenly. Then he got shot through his shoulder. And that was the end of that. But he was doing pretty well. I mean, for Rouge, taking damage and dishing it out, pretty impressive. But even past that, another tidbit is that Rouge is older. He's a lot older than the other guys. He was 45 pre-time skip, 47 post-time skip. But Rouge, at the end of the day, he's had probably the best feat. One of the best feats from the Supernovas. And that was he took down Commander Snack of the Big Mom Pirates. Or the Sweet Commander Snack. And Commander Snack was right behind Cracker as a Sweet Commander. And man, once we found that out, we had to just immediately catapult Rouge to one of the top Supernovas, just because we saw how strong one Sweet Commander was, or several Sweet Commanders were. And for Rouge to take one of those people down, very impressive. Of course, the specifics of that, not clear. Not sure if he was by himself, was he aided, or whatever. But for right now, with the context how it said, Rouge defeated the Sweet Commander, so we're gonna look at it as Rouge defeated the Sweet Commander by himself. That puts you top 5. There's no way Rouge can be top 5. You can argue that he's even higher based on that feat, but for right now, Rouge is definitely top 5. Again, he's a fan favorite, one of the most popular memes in the community. Emotes. I think Rouge, again, could be a lot higher just based on what he did, but I'm comfortable putting him at 5. I think the other guys have a lot more to offer, or more to offer, not a lot more, but more to offer. But we'll see. I'm not sure what Rouge is doing right now. Hopefully we see him in Wano. But for right now, he's number 5. Number 4. Now, this is where it gets tricky, and I thought about it a lot. And number 4, I have Trafalgar Law. There's a lot I can say about Law. We know how devastating Law can be. We can go back to Law versus Virgo and how that turned out. Even though Doflamingo was pretty confident in Virgo's abilities. And we can go back to Law's devastating ability, which is the Gamma Knife. I think Law's greatest feat right now is probably that Virgo slash. We can go back to Law. Law defeated Smoker 1v1. A lot of people don't have Smoker up high on their powerful list. But Smoker's pretty powerful, right? He's pretty strong. But Law took him down, right? And with Law's abilities, it's a lot of things Law can do to one-shot you. A Gamma Knife is a one-shot for most people. A Mess is a one-shot for most people. He has Counter Shock. He has Radio Knife. It's a lot of things Law can do to completely just immobilize you, right? And of course, he has the Room, Shambles, all that stuff. The guy is deadly. Of course, he has some shortcomings, right? As far as overall stamina, that seems to be an issue with his Devil Fruit. He can go past his limits, of course, typically in One Piece, but that takes away some of his lifespan. So, for Law, I mean, it goes on and on as far as the positives. The negatives are not that many. That's why he's so high at number 4. And of course, his devastating Devil Fruit power that a lot of people would probably choose if they had the opportunity or the option. But again, for his power, you have to train or go learn being a doctor to understand the fruit a bit better. And of course, that's not even talking about immortality surgery. So it's a lot with Law that we can talk about. But for right now, number 4. I think what brought him down a bit was how he showed versus Doflamingo. Of course, he got some hits in on Dofi. But overall, I think I expected a bit more. But I understand, like, based on story, he can't do too much. It has to be the MC. So, I mean, Law, number 4 for me. Also want to acknowledge that Law's bounty pre-time skip was 200 million berry, then got raised to 400 million berry, then got raised to 500 million berry. So Law, he's gotten some great bounty raises. Of course, Law was a Shichibukai. He's making moves post-time skip to put himself in position to take down Doflamingo and ultimately Kaido. Man, that was his initial plan, to take down Kaido or take down the Smile Factory so that Kaido can come after Dofi, because I guess he wasn't confident enough to take down Doflamingo and his family. I mean, Doflamingo's family is pretty formidable. A lot of things had to fall into place for that to happen. But I won't go off my Dofi fanboy shit, right? I won't do that. But they managed to defeat him nonetheless. Sorry, I said 400 million berry. He went to 440 million berry. From 200 to 440 to 500. Number 3, I have X Drake. And X Drake, he's a wild card, right? He's a huge wild card for me. And of course, X Drake, he is a member of Kaido's crew. From what we saw, he is a headliner, just like Basil Hawkins, but that's what he started out as. Shout out to Pharaoh. He pointed it out on Twitter. After the chapter dropped, what was it, 9/12 or 9/11? It mentioned that X Drake was a headliner when he joined a year ago or a year and a half ago. Forgot exactly what it said. But the thing is, look at Capone. He started out as a rook, but he moved his way up. He worked his way up. So even though he started out that way, he could still be a calamity. For X Drake, pre-time skip, he had a 220 million berry bounty. So he had a pretty high bounty pre-time skip level. And now we don't know what it is, but I expect it to be a lot higher based on his affiliations, or at least 400. That's my prediction. At least 400 now because of his affiliations and his. Remember, X Drake was once a Marine, a rear admiral. So for right now, X Drake, and again, he was able to stop 2 supernovas back then at Saboti. He did really well against a pacifist that was able to send it flying. So for X Drake, he's really powerful even back then in his backstory. His dad said, "You're the strongest here, right? But you're just not, you're a coward." And of course, he's had dialogue with Law. It's been kind of cryptic as far as like what Law meant, as far as like, have you ever killed people, X Drake? I don't know if this means that X Drake is still a coward, or has he turned and morphed into a savage? We saw what he did when he walked to Kaido's territory, and Scotch was like, "Yo, my nigga, what you doing here?" And X Drake was like, "We in this bitch, right?" And X Drake, of course, he obviously impressed Kaido and got on Kaido's radar because that was the intent anyway. Because now he's a headliner, or he was a headliner. I think he has moved up. Maybe if he's not a calamity, I think he's higher than a headliner for sure. For X Drake, again, a wild card. I think one of the strongest supernovas for sure. His devil fruit, as far as being the T-Rex, that could be pretty devastating. So I know it's a meme now, right? With King of Lightning, where King of Lightning says, "Oh, it's a fucking T-Rex. Why do we?" Come on, guys. We did not think this about a T-Rex before King of Lightning said it, and that goes back to King of Lightning, just how fucking influential he is. But come on, X Drake is going to be a monster, guys. He's going to be a monster. Number 2, and I think this is pretty clear who number 2 should be, and it's Monkey D. Luffy. I'm joking. I'm fucking joking. Jesus Christ. I can see. What the fuck? Luffy number 2? You see these Yonko Goku? Relax. I got you. Number 2 is Kid. And again, story and hype. Not that many feats. Pre-time skip had a bounty of 315 million berry. Got raised to 470 million. So Kid has been making moves. Of course, he's attacked Big Mom's ships. He's attacked Big Mom's territory. Of course, he lost. We're not sure when he lost his arm, but Kid, he's been getting himself into shit. And of course, going back to the hockey blooming thing, a lot of people don't want to accept that and thinks it only applies to Luffy. But I think Kid's hockey has been blooming like crazy. And of course, people are going to go back to the Kaido thing versus Kid. And when people say that, I really question how smart they are. No. I question if they're okay. I question if they actually know what the heck they're talking about. Because you understand, the picture is really clear now, right? You have Apu, Hawkins, and Kid. And Killer was there in some capacity, going against Kaido. Apu is now serving Kaido. Hawkins is now serving Kaido. Kid is in a cage. What do you think happened? If Apu and Hawkins turned, even if it's Apu, Hawkins, and Kid back then versus Kaido, they're losing. If it's Apu, Hawkins, Kaido versus Kid, what do we expect? So for Kid, I don't know why people use that as like an L or a blemish on his record when we got Zoro out here losing to the Yeti Cool Brothers and Luffy out here losing to Caesar. So it boggles my mind when people use that. But for the most part, story, hype, devil fruit, and the potential of it, because he supposedly has like magnetic powers. So that's gonna be great if he can. I know that's gonna be amazing. Look at what Hawkins can do, right? And Kid, we saw him match Luffy's abilities at Sabaody. People are like, oh, there's just pre-time skip. Luffy's grown a lot, blah, 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 training, blah, 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 really, blah, blah, blah. We don't know what Kid went through. And again, we saw how much Luffy grew when his hockey was moving. But we'll talk about Luffy a little later. Right now, I think Kid is definitely deserving of number 2. I can see people putting Law number 2 because we haven't seen Kid. Putting a Rouge number 2 because of his feats. But for me right now, I'm comfortable, really comfortable with Kid being number 2 just because of what he's accomplished. I think he's done, not accomplished, because of story, hype, devil fruit, and just the setup, right? And again, going back to interviews, Oda even said that the only supernova he had plans for really was Kid. He had plans for Kid in the story. Law, he added to Law's backstory because apparently Law became a fan favorite. He's like, oh, let me add to this guy. But Kid, he had plans for Kid. So I would expect he still had plans for Kid. So yeah, Kid number 2 for me. So number 1 should not be any surprise. Monkey D. Luffy, the being recognized as an emperor by Big News Morgans, an influential person in the One Piece world. And yeah, I mean, it's just not much to say about Monkey D. Luffy. Luffy has done a lot. His greatest feat, I would say so far, is defeating Katakuri. And I mean, that has a, you know, like the Kevin Durant move to Golden State. No, it's not that bad. But Luffy has a, it's looking at Katakuri's capabilities and what happened is kind of like, what the fuck? But he got the W at the end of the day, right? He got acknowledged by Katakuri, got acknowledged by Big Mom, he got acknowledged by everyone, and now he's being recognized as an emperor. Luffy has grown so much from when we saw him jump out of that barrel 21 years ago. Not all of us, but that's when it first happened. And Luffy, at this point, it's hard to see any other supernova beating him. I know a lot of people think, not a lot of people, a select few Zorotards think that Zoro is stronger than him. I think Zoro is on his level. I think Zoro is really strong, but I think Kid is on his level. Law, Drake, I think those guys on his level. But ultimately, based on what Luffy has shown and his potential and story, nobody's fucking with Luffy. I was holding out hope that Kid was going to be stronger just because I wanted Luffy to have a rival to overcome. That's not looking like where Oda's going with the story. The Supernova so far, they have been stepping stones. They've aided Luffy in his accomplishments, right? Dressrosa, Punk Hazard, what we just saw in Whole Cake Island. That's what they do. They aid Luffy. I mean, they get credit somewhat, but Luffy gets the lion's share. I mean, in Dressrosa, Law got to 500, Luffy got to 500, but I believe Luffy was at 400 at that time, so Luffy got a higher jump. At the end of the day, Luffy has shown enough to be the strongest supernova. I know there's been arguments as far as like Kid and all that stuff. I don't think you can justify putting any supernova over Luffy right now. Whereas Generation, that's different because Blackbeard, he's a Yonko. Luffy's being recognized as such by a lot of people as well. So Luffy right now, the number 1 supernova. Again, this may be a bit premature, but we'll see. Maybe this may be a thing going forward. Every year we do a rankings of it. I want to do that where I have rankings every year of different things. My top 10 sexiest video, that's going to be on the next poll. In addition to the previous videos that I had suggested, I may make the My Hero Academia video a bit more specific because I just said My Hero Academia hype. Like, nigga, what? I may make a specific character like the potential of Full Cowl or the potential of Dabi or something like that, just to improve. Just for people to say, okay, I want to hear about that, I want to see that. So yeah, this was dope. Not something I think about all the time. Of course, you think about the supernovas and you put them in places in your head, but when you have to sit down and think about it, it's like, okay, it's not that difficult just because we don't know a lot and it's like headcanon. But I can see somebody having a completely different list just based on how they feel about something. So good stuff. Shout out to the patrons for suggesting this video. I appreciate you guys so much. So that's the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed this and would like more videos like this, for one, you can become a patron. That, of course, that's optional. Or you can just like the video and subscribe. Leave a comment if you would like more videos like this. Because I enjoy making videos like this, and a lot of people like when I make content like this. So, you know, shout out to y'all my niggas. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys helped me out, help out the channel so much. So I'm going to continue to create content. I definitely love it and enjoy it. But yeah, that's it. Like the video, subscribe if you have not for more content like this, people. Again, subscribe. I just fucking said that. Go become a patron so you can vote. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. And merch coming. Shout out to King of Lightning. This is the King of Lightning Judge Top 5 shirt. I got some ideas for some merch. I've been saying that for the longest, but merch, beanies, shirts, dad hats definitely coming. I've had some great ideas, been working with a few people. So yeah, I mean, it's not gonna be no super weeb anime shit. We're not doing that, okay? Not saying this is super weeb anime shit. I just wanna build a little bit, right? Want to start something small, something real subtle that people can just rock out where they don't feel kind of, because you know, with anime, you know what, I'm rambling like shit. Like the video, subscribe. I'll catch y'all later. Peace. By the time they get to 7.